You've done this before. You are certain of it. The conversation, the room, the exact way the light is falling across the floor. You have been here, said this, felt this exact feeling, and yet somewhere underneath the certainty, you know it is impossible. That is déjà vu. And your brain did not glitch. It lied to you on purpose. Most people treat déjà vu as a small curiosity, a blip, something that makes you pause for 2 seconds before life moves on. But what happened inside your brain during those 2 seconds is one of the most revealing things it ever does, because it shows you, in real time, exactly how your memories are built, and how easily they can be faked. Your memory is not a recording. It never was. Every time you remember something, you are not playing back a stored file. You are reconstructing it, rebuilding the moment from scattered fragments, filling in the gaps with what your brain believes should be there, and then saving that new, slightly altered version over the original. Memory researcher Elizabeth Loftus spent decades demonstrating exactly this. In study after study, she showed that human memory is not a retrieval system. It is a creative system, a reconstruction process. Every time you remember something, you are also, in some small way, inventing it. And every time you invent it, you replace what was there before. That is uncomfortable to sit with. But it gets stranger. Your brain does not even wait for something to happen before it starts building a memory of it. In certain conditions, it builds the memory first. Neuroscientist Moulin has studied déjà vu more closely than almost anyone alive, and his research identifies a specific failure inside the brain's familiarity recognition system. Normally, when you encounter something you have experienced before, a song, a street, a smell, a quiet signal fires, a low background hum of recognition that tells you, I have been here before. But sometimes that signal fires at the wrong moment. Sometimes it fires for something entirely new, and when it does, your brain does not report an error. It reports a memory. With complete conviction, it tells you that you have been here before, and for a moment you believe it. That eerie and unsettling feeling during déjà vu, the sense that something is both familiar and impossible at the same time, is not your brain catching its own mistake. It is your prefrontal cortex detecting a conflict between two systems running at once. The familiarity system says, I know this. The reasoning system says, that cannot be right. And you feel both signals simultaneously, overlapping, creating that brief and disorienting sense of standing between two realities. Who experiences this the most? People between the ages of 15 and 25. Researchers believe this is because that stretch of life contains more new experiences than almost any other, which means the recognition system is working harder and misfiring more often. Frequent travelers report déjà vu far more than people who rarely leave familiar places. Sleep-deprived people report it more than the well-rested, and people with certain forms of temporal lobe activity, particularly those in the early stages of focal seizures, can experience it almost continuously. That is precisely how déjà vu first became a serious subject of scientific study, not as a curiosity, as a symptom pointing toward something deeper. But for the vast majority of people, it is not a symptom. It is a window, a brief, uncomfortable glimpse of the machinery operating just below the surface of your everyday experience. Here is what that machinery is doing every waking moment of your life. Your brain is not processing reality in real time. It is running roughly half a second behind the present, continuously predicting what is about to happen and filling the now with those predictions. What you think you are experiencing at this exact moment is not the world itself. It is your brain's best guess model of the world, assembled from memory, expectation, and pattern recognition. Neuroscientist Anil Seth calls this a controlled hallucination. You are not perceiving reality directly. You are perceiving your brain's best guess about reality. And because the guess is almost always close enough, you never notice the gap between the two. Déjà vu is what happens when the guess fails in a specific and revealing way, when the prediction engine reaches into the wrong drawer and stamps something new with the label of something stored. The filing system misfires, and you experience that error as a genuine memory. And here is the most unsettling part. It feels identical to a real memory. From the inside, there is no difference. Your brain does not flag its own reconstructions. It treats them all as equally real. And that should make you pause. If your brain can produce the complete and convincing feeling of having been somewhere you have never been, it can produce the same feeling for almost anything. Not through deliberate deception, not through damage or failure, through the exact same process it uses to function every single day. Every memory you hold with confidence has been reconstructed at least once. Every conversation you remember has been quietly edited. Every moment from your past has been rewritten in whatever direction made the most sense to the version of you doing the remembering. Psychologist Frederic Bartlett understood this nearly a century ago. In the 1930s, he asked participants to read an unfamiliar folk story and recall it later, days, weeks, and months afterward. Each retelling changed. Details that clashed with the person's existing world quietly disappeared. Details that were never in the original quietly appeared. And the drift was not random. It was consistent, always moving toward whatever felt most coherent and familiar to the person remembering. Your memory is not a record of what happened. It is a story you keep revising without realizing you are revising it. Déjà vu is just the one moment the revision happens in front of you. The curtain lifts. The engine shows through the floor. You feel the construct for exactly what it is. A living, shifting, endlessly rewritten version of a past you can never fully return to. And then the feeling passes, life resumes, and you go on trusting your memories, not knowing how many times they have already been rewritten. The next time déjà vu finds you, and it will, try not to shake it off too fast. Because in that brief, disorienting moment of impossible familiarity, your brain is showing you something true. Not about the room you are standing in, about the way you have always been standing in every room. Building the world from fragments, filling in what is not there, revising the story. You have been doing it your entire life. You just thought it was real.